anybody want to throw out some suggestions? We're going to spend about 10, 15 minutes on it. Unhealthy habits. What are some unhealthy habits?
She was waiting on it.
All right.
Unhealthy habits. You walk into a room, there's a group of people, and the first thing you do is like, okay, who can I get some business from? And you run up to them, you slap a card in their face.
You just throw it
Yeah,
out.
you just start throwing out cards.
Just hitting them.
You know, you don't talk to them. You know, you don't even, pretty much don't even introduce yourself. Hey, my name's Ben here. Let me give you my card. That's not a good thing.
All right.
It's like, get out of my face. I don't want to talk to you. You know,
All right.
you
So
just don't want to do that.
that's a good thing. That's a good point that's being made. Now let's break that down. Let's deal with it on a practical level. Let's say you did that to 30 people. 30 people, right? Let's be very practical. Out of those 30 people, how many of those people you think actually going to call that person?
None.
So, from a practical standpoint, should we even do that? No. Now, it's already not appropriate, but let's just be practical. Take that aside. All right? Now, why do you think they won't call?
They feel like you don't really care. You're just trying to get business. You're not really trying to get to know them on a personal level or know what their business line is or know anything about them at all.
Right.
You're just trying to get you some business.
So when a person is looking at them as they're getting that card out, that person is giving out the card, what do you think they're seeing? They're seeing a transaction. Yeah. Do you know how that feels to be looked at and say, you know, I'm just a transaction. I'm just a number to you. Nobody likes that. And that person will probably never say, hey, you're just a transaction to me. But you say it based on how you treat the person. So that's an unhealthy habit, obviously. Any other unhealthy habits to network?
But just to piggyback on what she just said, it's like people, they can feel a phony a mile away. And if you come with people like that, then they'll know automatically, then you're not really sincere about your business goals. You're just trying to get money.
Right.
Anytime anybody in it just for money and not to help others, that's always a bad situation all the way around.
So what are some negative effects? I mean, let's go back to that. If that's the case, it's glaringly obvious to us. Why do you think people still do it?
They don't know anything.
They don't know the art of networking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they don't know?
They don't know. That's the reason they need to come to networking groups that's gonna.
Oh, so they need to come to this group.
They need to come to this group.
And some people just don't care.
Don't care.
They don't care.
Because it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
Two people can say the exact same
You
thing,
know,
That's true.
Good point.
and if you know better,
Yeah.
you do better.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So the reason I asked it is because, okay, if I'm building business for myself and that's my approach, well, these guys must be making some money some kind of way. You know, unless they're just stealing and robbing. Their method, it must be working at some point because they're still doing it.
Not all the time.
Of course, it's not working. It should be. In theory, it shouldn't work at all. But
It's the law of large numbers.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They say, you know what? So they create this delusion, which it's like it's a fine line between the reality. Yes, there is a law of averages. You have to work a high volume, but you actually are expending more unnecessary energy. Why do I say that? Because don't you think if you genuinely spoke to those 30 people and formulated some communication with them, your odds would be better in your favor? Instead, you're going to end up having to talk to 500 people, or whatever the number is, to get the same exact results. Now, that's just not very practical to me, because it's only 24 hours in a day, and you know, it just may not be. I don't have that kind of energy, you know, to do that. So, all right. Any other unhealthy habits? So we got. Because networking can take place not just in these kind of settings. They take place at conferences, workshops, seminars. Anybody else got any examples of bad networking that you've seen?
Folks ignoring each other, not even talking to each other.
Really?
You're at a networking event, but you're not talking to each other. And that's what happened to me this past weekend. I went to the city of Dallas, and I mean, well, we broke up into different categories because we were doing neighborhood associations. So we were in the green room, and everybody, it was 4 tables in there, and it had at least 6 people at each table. And all they were doing was talking among themselves because they knew each other. They weren't trying to learn about any of the other associations and how they could work together and do things. So I told another girl, Nikki and I, we done some things together. So we got up and we just started to tell them, okay, tell us about who you are, what neighborhood association you with, how can we help you? And we wrote it all down on the board for them. And they were really glad. They said, thank you all for getting us together because otherwise we'd be just sitting here.
That's a good thought.
Yeah.
So it sounds like to me, as an entrepreneur and a networker, what I heard from that is we take initiative. Networking and growing your business is not gonna happen passively. I think everybody that we've had a chance to get to know in this group, there had to be some kind of initiative to take place. It's not gonna just just happen automatically where we just automatically are gonna click and get to know each other. So that means you can be in a room, you can go to an event, you can go to 30 events a month and still walk away and not gain anything because if you don't take initiative, you don't take the time to get over and speak to the people and be curious about them. Not, I'm going to figure out a way to really convince them to buy my product. No, my approach is just my approach. I want to be curious about the business owner. I wonder what they do. And, in my line of work, I meet different people, different industries.
Yes.
And it's fascinating to see their journey, how they started, how long they've been doing it, the ups and downs. Well, guess what? People tend to appreciate you a little bit better than, I can, in my case, hey, look at your business card. I can fix your business card, or look at your website. Well, that's not really that's not how I prefer to do things. So, all right, so we dealt with the negative.
Can I say something else on that? I had been getting a lot of emails from Brandon. But we met somewhere, and I don't remember where we met. The BNI. I think we met at a BNI. So he was sending me things about his different events that he was having. So I decided to go to one of them and see what was going on, and that's how I met Leonard. And with that one meeting, this is how this started. Just a one meeting, because we all just clicked. We knew what each person needed and what we wanted to see in a networking group.
But guess what? If we came to that workshop, just ate our food, didn't show any interest in each other where our journeys are, where we're going, or to collaborate. Sometimes we have this switch where we say, okay, you talk to a person, say, they can't be a client of mine. Next.
Well, that's why we're here to her. That's how we met her.
Yeah.
There you go. All those connections.
Yes.
Do you think that people can notice that? It's like you're filling out a checklist with them. Like you're trying to figure out if they can be your client. Don't you think people can really pick up on that?
Yes.
You just did a checklist with me, and I didn't pass.
One thing I'll say as well is I think it's a good thing to have people from your same industry. For one, you can learn from them. Some of the things they're doing that might be something completely different than what you've been doing to get your clients. And on top of that, it's enough business to go around. It's not like, I do insurance. It's enough insurance, enough buildings out in the whole state, so we can share. I think a lot of times we have that mentality to where, okay, it got to be me. And when it should be a situation where, okay, how can I improve the value of everybody else around me? But I think that's the mentality that some people have, and that's why they don't succeed in business.
Right, and then if you have a client and you see that you can't help them, and you know somebody else that has a similar product, then say, oh, well, I can't help you at this time, but I know someone that can help you.
Yep.
And then just refer that person.
Yep.
It doesn't always have to be about you, because whatever you give is going to come back to you double.
That is true. Because like me, I don't really do a lot of financial securities, but I know her. I just met her now. I know she does some of that stuff. So I can, if I have a client, I'd be like, well, I don't really do that, but I have someone who does. So it's good to have other people within your industry that you can kind of, lean on sometimes.
You know what's validating about this? When you meet a person like Ms. Deontay, you find out they have a quality service, and she's a quality person. Now you're ready to send business all the time. So it's taking that initiative. Another thought that I just thought about with Ms. Patty is why do Why do more and more people not have a giver's mentality?
I think takers.
Why?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's that we're not taught, you know, as far as, I went to a very interesting leadership conference, and one of the things that they were talking about, number one, believe in others. Look to how you can build value into other people.
Right.
And so it's really, we get taught, like, you have to do it on your own, you have to make it on your own, the test you have to pass it on your own. We don't get taught to collaborate, you know, which our educational system really, I think sometimes it is trying to move towards that, because there's nothing we can do on our own.
Yep.
Success is not possible. We've never done anything successful or great alone.
That's true.
And I don't think we've really realized that and stopped and taken the time to really think about that. The man who is the breadwinner with the wife at home, well, you couldn't have gone out and did what you did if your wife wasn't at home supporting you. So we don't see the supporting roles in our lives a lot of time.
And
I totally agree with that.
And one thing I see is that the way that some of us was brought up is not being taught to the future generations. Like, I was raised up where there is a village. We had a village. My mom had 6 friends, and each one of them brought something different to the table. And we knew that if we did something in our neighborhood that wasn't like our mom told us to do, that those 6 people were going to tell my mom, and that we definitely would be in trouble. And what they did every Saturday morning is got up, and each one of them went to the market. They went as a group. They went to the market, and each one would buy a bushel of something. Somebody bought the green beans, somebody bought the corn, and then when they get it home, they split it up, they cook it, and everybody has a meal. So that was the giving mentality that I was brought up in. So that, you know, everybody says, well, you could be so much higher if you didn't give your stuff away. I said, it's not giving away, it's something God has already put it out here that you just need to be able to do the same thing as give. Because that's what we're here to do is help one another and give to each other. And if my brother is hungry, I need to feed him. So if he needs business, I need to be there to give it to him. So that's, you have to give that mentality, and we have to give that to our future generations so that they will know. Because if our ancestors hadn't done what they did to stay together, we wouldn't be where we are now.
That's true.
So we have to be that giving.
One thing what Deontay says about teaching children, that is so important. And too many people don't teach their children to share. You know, it's all about me. You know, this is mine. We know little kids in the beginning, they'll do that, but you have to teach them that, no, you have to share. You know, you have to give some away. So it's good to see that when it's happening, but then too, sometimes you sit and you're like, it's all about you, isn't it, sweetie?
That made me laugh because yesterday my grandson and I were doing trick-or-treat, Halloween trick-or-treat bag. So after we got through doing the bag, he says, Jenna, I need to take a bag to my cousin. I said, no, you don't need to take a bag to your cousin. They need to come here for Halloween to pick up their bag. But he was ready to take everybody a bag of candy. So I taught him how to do that. And we went out on Sunday morning and had breakfast. And this gentleman, I don't know anything about this gentleman, but he walked to me and he says, I just want to say, this is a great sight. I said, what? He says, your grandson is opening the door for you. He's pulling out the chair for you. He's sharing with you. He says, I've never seen it. He says, I've been just sitting here observing it. He says, and I'm just awed at what he do. And this guy was from Chicago. And come to find out, he's my ex-boss's father.
Small world.
Small world.
To take it to a business standpoint, I think that's another thing, because it gets ingrained in us, and so we feel that we have to know it all, we have to be it all, we have to do it all. And number one, it's taxing. It's difficult to know and be it all. It's I call it I call it my God complex when I start going through those motions, because we all go through those challenges. But it's such a relief to give and to delegate authority, to give power and influence to people. it's actually, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a huge number. It's a relief, and it's a sign of empowerment to cultivate the next person. You know, it's freedom.
It is. It is. I'm learning too.
Yeah, that's what I'm going through with the neighborhood association. Well, we have a neighborhood association, and then we have another organization that's working with them. They're trying to work with them. But, you know, like we're getting ready to do the citywide beautification. And because we signed up and called them, the neighborhood association, to come in with us, they were upset. That's our job. And we're the neighborhood association. It doesn't matter who signs up. Let's get together. You know, that's what I'm trying to teach them, that they have to work together. That's what I'm trying to get 10 nonprofits together so that they can work together, show them how to work. Everybody I talk to, well, I got mine, they need to get theirs. I said, that don't work because everybody's without.
Everybody wants to be on top.
On top.
Nobody wants to share. Nobody wants to get credit.
Nobody.
It's not about who gets the credit. It's about getting the job done.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I got a story for that too. I worked with an organization years ago. Not an organization name out there, but I worked with an organization years ago. And when I worked with the organization, the board of directors, they had an individual on the board. They had a particular seat on the board, and they also worked with another organization within the same community. And when I was working on this particular organization, one of the things we were working on is doing like a back to school fair. We were providing school supplies for kids and all that kind of stuff. And we didn't have strict demands or whatever, or paperwork you have to fill out. It was real casual. Just fill out some paperwork, and we pretty much gonna give you something. But this particular organization had a real in-depth process in which you had to go through in order to acquire the school supplies. First, you had to be a resident of the community, and then you had to have a certain financial status, and you had to go to that school, whatever the case. It wasn't that stringent with us. It was, hey, as long as if you live anywhere outside the community, just come on in. And the idea behind ours was to bring business within the community itself, not just to hold something, you know, that I don't know what it has a statute to, basically. And that individual was on the board of the organization. They got real upset, and they actually wanted to cancel out the event. And they were real upset and torn after we completed the event or whatever the case. And we tried to reach out to that individual, because me and my wife were working with this organization simultaneously. We tried to reach out to that individual, and they kind of slapped their hand away. They didn't want to talk to us, they didn't want to work with us. And I said, we don't know what to do. We've already acquired all this product. The head of that particular organization we were working with was kind of in between the board and ourselves. I mean, he couldn't give us any feedback as to what to go with it, and it was a pretty interesting situation. So I'm just going to piggyback on the fact of not sharing. We could have all, again, collaborated.
But also the government is also fixing it where the people are not wanting to collaborate, because now everybody has to have to report and have the documentation of everything that they give away down to the last penny. It used to be a quarter. Now it's every penny. So like when I went there Saturday, they kept saying, well, you got to have this documentation to show that you did this and that you can sustain this for 5 years. So the government is also making it where that it's hard for people to also share, especially if there are nonprofits or organizations that's receiving grants or scholarships or something like that. They have to have that paperwork. And some of the others that, you know, like if I go in and I just do it back to school drive, I don't have to report who all did this and that, but they have to show that they gave it to me. So, you know, it's just one thing, one hand and the other, so it's just crazy right now.
Well, you know, I think what we're hearing right now is a lot of different things on a smaller level, and on larger levels, and then on a personal level, from our upbringings and all that. I think from a business standpoint, it just serves us well to take interest in the other people and have that giver's mentality. I was reading a book, and he was talking about how some people say, you know what, if I had $1 million, I'll give away 10% of it to somebody. You know, I'll give it away easily. And we say, well, you know, that's a lot of money. So why don't we start you off with the small amounts and then work yourself up? Because we trick ourselves and saying, you know, if I had a lot of money, yeah, I'd really give it away. Well, do you not realize if you have $5 and you can't give a smaller amount, it's not going to be any different. It's not going to be any different. It's just going to be I call it the magnifying glass effect. When you give more power and more money, it just allows you to be more of what you already are. So he says develop the habit. Develop the habit earlier on, instead of saying, I'd really give it. Or that he brought up this other concept. He said, if I won the lottery salary or came into a lot of money, I just stopped working. I stopped doing everything. He said, well, maybe that's the reason why you don't have it. Because you wouldn't be a conduit to help and empower others. You just sit on it.
He's not ready.
There you go.
What is that old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear?
Yeah. I mean, so
I just want to comment on what you just said. I remember back in, I think it was the 70s, when I lived in Arkansas, my pastor, he taught a series, and he talked about tithing, which all this ties into that. And he made the statement, just like you said, if you can't learn how to tithe when you're making $50, you ain't gonna tithe when you're making $1,000, because you're gonna say, ooh, that's too much money, I can't do that. He said, but if you start when you're making $50 and then you're making $100, it's no big deal. And I was like, ooh,
because it's about the habit, and more importantly, it's about the philosophy. A lot of your heart. So, in a business standpoint, we are living out our philosophies among each other. The way we conduct ourselves, the way we treat people. That's our philosophy. And it's not anything technical. It's just the way you think about things and the way you do things. It'll show itself. It'll show itself out. No doubt. With that being said, we have successfully completed our first round table. Give yourselves a hand.